Subnautica is the game that best manages to make me feel fear. Now fear isn't bad, it's a survival mechanism that has kept humanity alive up to this point. Fear is activated on conscious and subconscious cues. A conscious cue is you are in the woods and you see a tiger. A subconscious cue is there is just something off. You can't really explain it, you're just Han Solo and you have a bad feeling about this. We call this intuition or a gut feeling, going with your gut. Something is wrong but you don't know exactly why. This is the state I constantly found myself in when I first started playing Subnautica. And now I think I know exactly why. Let's start with the setting. The ocean on another planet. The ocean on our planet is already pretty terrifying, but being in an ocean on another planet is an added level of unfamiliarity to an already frightening experience. In the ocean you move slower, you can't even punch properly, the range of your vision is heavily limited because light rays don't perform as well in the ocean as they do on the surface, mainly because of all the gunk in the ocean. And we can't breathe in the ocean, so the ocean is slowly going to kill us. Add the freaky, horrific monsters in the ocean, and yeah, you have a prime recipe for fear. For me, the main mechanic of Subnautica was overcoming my fear. In order to progress, I would have to explore the areas I'm afraid of to be able to gather the gear and supplies I need to survive. The enemies in these areas will behave in certain ways depending on where you are. Like the small shark boys, they mostly just wanna chew on metal. If they don't see any metal, but they do see you, they might try chewing on you. But they will mostly leave you alone. But when you start out, you don't know that. Some enemies are just jerks and will kill themselves just to hurt you. Some enemies are just territorial and won't really go after you. There are also enemies waiting to ambush you. But not every fish is an enemy. There are some, believe it or not, that just wanna float about and chill. But there have been some that I thought would be friendly, but then they hurt me. This uncertainty always leaves you on edge. You know nothing about the enemies when you start out, so you have to go through the process of overcoming your fear by familiarizing yourself with your environment. And the game that best illustrates this in game form, in my opinion, is Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, a game I also made a video about. In Ancestors, when you enter into an unfamiliar environment, you enter a state of fear, and the way you get rid of that fear is to enter your ape vision and scan the environment. See things you recognize and get a better look at the things you don't recognize. And after a certain amount of scouting, you get comfortable enough to say, yeah, I'm fine here. And the same process happens in Subnautica, but in a more natural, less gamey way. And instead of an ape getting comfortable with the environment, it's you, the player, a different kind of ape. I want to focus on conscious fear. Again, conscious fear would be something like seeing a random guy on the street with a gun, seeing the police drive by even though you've done nothing wrong, seeing a wasp, bear, hippo, or snake or something near you. The idea that you might never afford a decent home, creaking floorboards when you're home alone, or a distant gunshot. In Subnautica, it's this. Yeah, when you hear or see these things, your intuition is gonna tell you to make like a tree and split. And you should listen, because you probably don't have that one weapon that makes enemies a cakewalk. And an encounter with these things, or some of the things from below zero, will take some years of your lifespan. Why do I need to go there? Okay, I can do it, I'm brave. I'm brave. I'm brave. Leave me alone. I don't know I'm here. I'm brave. I'm brave. I'm brave. Okay. The human heart wasn't built for this much stress. It wasn't built for the soul-crushing dread of hearing these guys. But there is one huge element of the fear here that I haven't mentioned, and that is just how empty a lot of this place is. It's mostly just the starting area in the original game that feels like it has some life in it that isn't hostile. It's the kind of emptiness where you can fill up the empty space with your imagination. You can probably relate to this fear of emptiness, like walking through the woods at night or exploring an abandoned building. I think this is a feeling you mostly experience at night. And well, in Subnautica, the night is absolutely terrifying. It's like a 10-time multiplier on all the other aspects of fear in the game. Your vision gets even smaller, which means enemies have a better opportunity to stay hidden from you. This is where the paranoia starts. And I will illustrate this with a little Hitler theory. See, this is your field of vision, and everywhere your field of vision isn't covering is populated with little Hitlers. Now, this is absolutely absurd, but you can't really prove it wrong. You could turn around and look the other direction, but then the little Hitlers just move to the other side where your field of vision isn't anymore. And this is what nighttime is like for me in Subnautica. Just replace the Hitlers with underwater hell demons. And there's another multiplier. Whenever I don't have any solid surface around, like the seabed, the surface islands, or the spaceship. Just if I'm at the surface level of the ocean and then I look down and there's nothing but darkness beneath me, I just want to turn the game off, turn the Bionicle movie on and go to bed. It's 3 PM and I'm an adult. This game can turn me into a scared 7-year-old like no other can. I also experience this when I'm exploring the cave system, because I get lost very easily there and that terrifies me. Not to mention that in the ocean my sense of direction just goes out the window. I place a lot of beacons just so I can orient myself. And whenever I go deeper and deeper into the cave system, my anxiety level rises and rises. Plus, the deeper you are, the more nightmarish the enemies are. And you have to go deeper, because you have space aids, and you need a cure. But nothing in the game quite compares to hearing this. If you hear this, you should make like a banana and leave. There's nothing to gain in the ecological dead zone except a shorter lifespan. All this fear in the game makes it that much more rewarding when you finally get to a safe place. Whether it's your life pod or a player-made base or the surface islands. It gives you a dopamine high that you made it back and you can do something with all the stuff you risked your life for. And you can take a breath and relax. And maybe you gather materials and you go to a place you're afraid of and make a small base there. And you put a window on the base, and inside the base looking out, this place doesn't seem that bad. I wouldn't say that in Subnautica you conquer your fear. Instead, I would say that you use your fear to keep you alive. You approach new areas in a brave but very careful way. I would stick to walls to keep the little Hitlers away. I would carefully watch any life forms in the area and also keep my distance, constantly on high alert as I look for something new to progress. Keeping in mind any place that I could use to hide, listening carefully to see if I need to worry about some new monster. And then you get the prawn suit and you're ready to kill God. Hey bitch, remember me?
Nope.
Come on. This is not going the way I hoped it would. Yeah! Am I doing something? Come on. Fight me! I'm right over here, come fight me! Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Now we're fighting. Slowly but surely. Yeah. Oh, no. Sure. Alright. You. Of course you do. Of course you do. Top 10 most anticlimactic anime battles. Number 1. This. The game won't even let me have this. Just let me kill one of these. I guess most of the reason I'm afraid in Subnautica is just my imagination. I see these monsters and I think it's going to freaking disembowel me. And then they hit me and it's just, oh, that wasn't too bad. The Reaper just wants a hug, and you can mostly avoid him and other enemies by just kiting them to the left like a Dark Souls 2 boss. There are more creative enemies like the EMP squid and the Warper. It's pretty self-explanatory what they do, and it's never as bad as what you will imagine. Even dying is just a fade to black. Not that I experienced that, since well, I'm something of a pro gamer. The message, I guess, of the video is this. There's two. One is that your intuition is a survival mechanism we evolved to keep us alive and happy. If your intuition is telling you something, you should listen. It might keep you alive and keep you from getting hurt. Your intuition can be wrong, like in cases of anxiety where you're just afraid of leaving the house. But for the most part, it's better to be safe than sorry. Your intuition isn't exclusive to just fear. You could have a bad feeling about a job or something, then you take the job anyway, and then the work environment is a complete shit show or something. And you end up saying to yourself, I knew this was gonna happen. If you want something more in-depth on fear, I would recommend the book The Gift of Fear. Reading about it online was what inspired me to make this video, but a disclaimer. I haven't actually read the book, because book reading is for nerds. The second message is that the Subnautica games are amazing, and in my opinion the gold standard of what a survival game should strive to be. The crafting, gathering and progression feels really good. The story is really interesting. The fear and risk-reward factors are excellent here and elevate the experience. But the fear part of Subnautica is something that could alienate part of the audience. To that audience, I would recommend trying Below Zero instead. To me, Below Zero isn't as scary, and I guess I would say that it's easier. Below Zero has accessibility settings that let you highlight resources and pause the game when you open the inventory. The progression is faster in Below Zero. I think it's very subjective which one you would prefer. Below Zero is less scary in my opinion, but it is still pretty scary. It just feels less oppressive, I guess. That's the best way to describe it. But the first Subnautica is the better experience, to the point where if you played the original, you might consider Below Zero a shallow experience. Below Zero's map size is 1/6 of the original game, and if you asked me, Below Zero could have used more time in the oven. Some more content, more enemies, more leviathans, flesh out the map a little and rework the story. The protagonist talks a little too much, and I don't believe a precursor alien race would be as ignorant as Alan is. Plus, the storyline with her sister is just completely dropped. Or at least it feels like it. And that's as deep as I'm going to go into review territory. If you haven't played a Subnautica game, I absolutely recommend both of them. Below Zero is a little more friendly, not just to beginners but everyone. But the first Subnautica definitely gives you an experience that sticks with you. So like the video if you noticed the ocean puns, and if you disliked it, meet me behind this 7-Eleven in Hoboken and we will fight to the death. Subscribe for more videos about video games. Hey, maybe I will even be bored enough to look at a movie or something, but I doubt it. Most movies suck balls and I haven't really seen a movie worth talking about in a long time. Except maybe A Quiet Place. Probably rather TV shows. Invincible was pretty good.